I thank the BJP state party, the president, the members of parliament, the ministers, and also former minister, Swapan, former MP, and also a finance domain expert who's had so many different roles, the Finance Commission, and also now being an MLA in Bengal's assembly. So all flourished on the dais who represent the BJP, and also the invited audience and the enthusiasts who want to know about what exactly we have done in the GST. But in between, I will also take this opportunity to every now and then say about what is being given as per the recommendation of the Finance Commission and beyond it also. I requested the teams to distribute the facts about tax devolution, comparison between the 10 years or 11 years now of Prime Minister Modi-led government and also the 10 years before that under the UPA. To make sure that the numbers speak for themselves, you'll be able to take more informed call on how you want to present the facts in public domain when you're all discussing. So it also talks about the number of projects which have come to Bengal in the last 10 years and in the recent past what's more been added and so on. So the first set which got distributed to you has all the details that you need about money, devolution, projects which are coming to Bengal. All rightfully, but I also want to confirm that there's nothing being denied. So that is what is the first set of documents. There is a second document set which is coming, probably they're just going to start distributing it, which specifically tells you about the new gen GST reforms, in which I'm not even going to the presentation as yet. The document set which will get distributed will tell you about what are the common use items in which the rates have come down. And before I go into that detail, the new generation GST reforms is a thorough review and a proposal which resulted in a proposal after the review. So the thorough review is what? In the last 8 years, keeping the framework intact, which was a framework formed at the stage of introducing GST, and we kept improving it in the last 8 years. But there was a time about 8 months ago, Honorable Prime Minister invited me and said, look, I want you to do something about GST. What? His pain was that the good work done under GST in bringing the entire market of India together, subsuming both taxes and cesses which were introduced in various states, 23, 24 of them together, 17 laws I think, and many others, taxes, and others were cesses and surcharges and duties. So they were all subsumed and India was made to be one single market so that the same item doesn't cost differently in different places, and also the toll tax and the crossing of the border, the logistic headaches, all of them were overcome. And at that time the rates, right at the beginning I want to put it before you, the 4 rates, which I'm not going into the presentation yet, but that presentation, that one slide will show you. It was 5, 12, 18 and 28. They were all decided on the basis of the committee which looked into how to fix the rates, and any item which was, let's say, one rate of tax in one state, another rate of tax in another state, as a result you had the same item being at 3% in some states, 6% in some others, 7% in some others, and so on. They were brought together to be at 5. Similarly, those which were at 10, or those which were at 13 or 14 were brought together to be at 12. The closest available in the 4 rates, which was the GST from 17 till today. So that also was not fixed randomly. A complete exercise was taken up. For every item, what was the prevailing rate in different states? The closest it can be brought in, sometimes more, sometimes less, was to the 5, 12, 18 and 28 category. So that's the one which prevails. So what was the need for us to review? The need for us to review was, first of all, we didn't want 4 rates. But were we ready to get into 1 rate situation as yet? Not yet. Maybe sometime in future. So we brought together the entire set of commodities and understood it from 5 different parameters. One, is it going to help the poor, the middle class? By bringing the item down in terms of taxable rate, are we benefiting the poor and the middle class? If yes, yes, we'll do it. The next was, is it meeting the middle class's aspiration? Middle class pays the tax, but feels that if today they were to move from a small TV at home to a larger TV, they are paying lots more tax. Or they want to move from a small car or a scooter to a even better family car, even that was higher on the tax according to the perception, and maybe so, because there are categories of taxes. And therefore the second parameter was, will it help the middle class to meet their aspirations? If it will, yes, we will reduce that. The third was, will it help farmers? Most often, when we were looking during the 8 years into matters related to farming community, it would be that that item on which the rate consideration had to happen, it used to come under the dual use category. Farmers use it, but others also use it. So for the sake of the farmer, if you were to bring down, the way in which people can exploit this would be they will put it all under the lower tax and saying farmers are buying it, whereas farmers may end up buying out of every 10, only 3 or 4, and the rest might be going for other uses. So we didn't want to treat dual use items, even if it's going to benefit the farmer somewhat, we didn't touch those. But now, when we are looking at it afresh, was there a way in which we can consider items which were useful for the farming community to be brought down? So that was my third filter. The fourth filter was, if it is going to help the MSMEs, one, for their raw material or intermediary products which they need for their production, we should consider them and make them cheaper so that MSMEs don't have to have the burden of input costs going very high, and where necessary also to give the relief through input tax credit, although the larger exercise was also to see this inversion be corrected. So input tax credit comes only when the inversion exists. We wanted to remove it, and to a large extent we've removed. But in exceptional cases like for the farmers, or for not so much for the farmers, but for those items produced for the purpose of farmers, and in the case of MSMEs, we were ready to put up with some kind of an inversion and giving refund or making people use their input tax credit. And the last category, the fifth one which we used while reviewing, was for the sake of the larger economy.